Deck builders and card battlers are a well-established genre at this point, and many of them tend to just copy the structure of standout titles. In the modern landscape, it's even more important to innovate and stand out, which is why Oaken caught my attention on Steam. With a hex-tiled game board, it appeared to be a card battler with a focus on unit tactics, so I was interested in seeing how this structure affected decision-making throughout the game. In Oaken, you play as a tree spirit named the Lady, and awake to find that the spirits of the great tree you live within are running wild. The narrative through point of Oaken is that you are traveling through the great tree to locate the source of the aggressive spirits. There are two heroes to choose from, the Lady, who you start the game with, and Kidu, who you can unlock later. Each spirit represents two different factions of spirits, the Dwellers and the Outcasts. These groups have different unique spirits that you can recruit during your run, and each hero has 2 skills and 3 starting cards for your deck. You also select from one of 7 unlockable guides that each provide a unique 3rd skill, starting trinket, and 3 additional cards. The combination of your hero and selected guide form the foundation of your build for a given run. As you begin, the format is typical of the roguelike genre, with a tree of nodes that give various rewards, all creating a path toward a boss fight. If you've played other roguelike deck builders, you're likely familiar with this format. Combat nodes reward cards, elite combat rewards trinkets, and events have random outcomes that you choose. While this format is very familiar, Oaken does implement unique systems around this structure. As you succeed throughout the run, you obtain wisps, Lumi globes, and Lumi dust that can all be used to upgrade your various cards and skills. Wisps provide a stat boost when given to a spirit, and occasionally apply an additional modifier effect. A single Lumi globe can be spent to upgrade spell cards, and 2 Lumi globes can be spent to upgrade one of your hero's skills. Lumi dust is your main currency in Oaken, and can be spent in a number of ways. You can use Lumi dust to upgrade spirits up to a maximum value, or to heal fatigue or exhaustion, which I'll explain in a moment. The combat of Oaken is built around a hex grid, and each unit has a frontal arc visualized on the hex tile that represents their area of attack. At the beginning of combat, you draw 4 cards from your deck and have a mulligan phase before combat starts. In Oaken, you have a maximum hand size of 4, and each card has a mana cost. Oaken also elects to use the mana system of gaining an additional point to spend each turn, up to a maximum of 7. Units are able to move and attack in a turn, but cannot move after attacking. When moving units, you must also decide which direction they face on the tile. This is important because if a unit is attacked from within their frontal arc, they'll counterattack the enemy unit if able. Another important area to be aware of is the unit's line of sight, or LOS, which extends 3 hexes in each direction of their frontal arc. Some spell cards use LOS as the threatened area, and some units are able to make ranged attacks within their LOS. There are several situations where the hex grid is used to provide more depth to scenarios. Through additional objectives and various tile modifiers, I think Oaken makes good use of its constraints to create variance and reward more tactical gameplay. While Oaken does have deck-building components, in my opinion there's far more focus on the tactical element of maneuvering your spirits around the grid, with systems in place that I feel confirm this hypothesis. Exhaustion and fatigue are mechanics that actively punish mismanagement of spirits in combat and cards in general. Some enemies inflict fatigue on spirits, which lowers their maximum health. If a spirit accumulates enough fatigue that their maximum health is reduced to 0, they become exhausted, meaning the card cannot be played again until the exhaustion is removed. You can remove exhaustion by completing the chapter, or by healing the spirit either with Lumi dust or a refuge node in the tree. Playing the same copy of a card more than once in a single encounter will also exhaust that card at the end of combat, which encourages the player to make the most of their card the first time they're played, and discourages the player from relying solely on their cards. While this sounds very punishing, in my experience it rarely became an issue, and after getting more familiar with the game, it was very easy to avoid exhaustion without significant sacrifice or effort. While Oaken initially provided an interesting depth given all of the mechanics I needed to learn, I found I was enjoying the game less and less as I played. The biggest detractor during my time with Oaken was the poor UI and user experience. While the UI is functional, it can be difficult to locate the information you care about. There are also simultaneously good and bad quality of life features. One example is the glossary that provides explanations of modifiers and terms within Oaken, but it's also the only place to find that information, despite Oaken making use of tooltips to inform the player when units possess those modifiers. There's also an option to undo the last action you performed on your turn, but this feels like a bandage for the poorly designed interface. In fact, I only ever made use of the undo to correct a mistake created by misreading the UI, which happened frequently even after I became familiar with it. This idea of covering shortcomings with other mechanics actually became a consistent thought across Oaken's systems as I played more of the game. Very early, I realized that I was having little to no problems dealing with enemies. If you spend Lumi Dust to upgrade units, you quickly begin to outscale your enemies. Lumi Dust is also used to cure fatigue, but with good positioning and strong units, the threat of gaining fatigue is minimized, leaving upgrading your units the only place to spend Lumi Dust. Enemies also spawn in waves, and as your units become stronger, you can defeat entire waves on the turn they spawn. With healing being very accessible, often a one-cost skill for your hero that can be used every turn, you effectively gain free turns to heal and summon more spirits to repeat the cycle. As a result, combat events become easy, which makes obtaining combat rewards easy, which in turn makes combat even easier until it's no longer engaging. I think Oaken had potential to be a very interesting title, but the implementation of some mechanics make the game fall short. While the tile-based combat and frontal arc systems are interesting, a poorly designed UI frequently results in mistakes that compound into frustration. The game is at its most difficult during boss fights, but given the larger number of tools available to you and easy-to-predict enemy AI, Oaken quickly becomes trivial. At the time of this review, unless a significant effort is made to fine-tune and better balance the experience, it's hard to recommend Oaken as anything more than a cute way to waste a few hours. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep having fun.